shit, you know. But hey, we got Vlad TV in the building.
Hello,
Vlad.
What's up?
How do you like to be referred to? DJ Vlad, Vlad TV.
Whatever, man.
What's the most comfortable for you?
I mean, Vlad, DJ Vlad TV is fine. Like I get called Glad. You know,
that's probably your least.
Shout out to Crunchy Black. Glad became a thing. You know, that a lot of people run with. So whatever y'all want, man. I'm easy.
How you feeling?
Good, man.
Thank you. I want to say thank you for a couple things, right? Thank you for giving us the opportunity, but more importantly, thank you for letting us beat Bootleg Kev. Because he was on the podcast the other day and he spoke about that he wasn't able to get the podcast done. So I'm just gonna we're just gonna act like we won and we beat him. You know what I mean?
Well, we spoke afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, because they sent me because he had mentioned that before, right? I think with a Rory interview, he talked about how he had reached out to me, and I turned him down at the time. But the problem was, me and Kev got on the phone afterwards, and I'm like, listen. You could tell that story if you want. That's fine because that really happened. You reach out to me and I hit you back and I'm like, listen, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Like your platform isn't big enough at this point, but I see what you're doing, so just keep in touch with me. The part of the story that I told him that he's misrepresenting was the time frame. Because when he was on this podcast, he said, yeah, Vlad hit me up last year, and I had to send him the text message and show that it was 2 years ago.
It's funny you mentioned Vlad. I've been cool with Vlad for like 10 years in some capacity. Like, we're not friends, but like we've talked and like almost worked together a couple of times. He wanted me to interview people on his channel. Very friendly relationship. And I had asked him to be on my podcast like early last year. He called me out of respect and explained to me why he didn't want to come on the show. And this went viral because I went back on Fig and talked about it. It did viral. They made a clip out of it and it did whatever it did. And I literally was like, you know, he called me and he was like, hey Kev, like, you know, I'm looking at what you're doing and like, it's cool, but like, you know, your numbers just ain't there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hey bro, I get it. It's all good. Like, we gonna spin the block. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't take that personal. I wasn't even tripping.
That's how I feel about most of that stuff. It's like, okay, if it's not right now, we'll see you because we're gonna be here.
Yeah, and it wasn't even me saying it like that. I was just like, nah, I get it, bro. Like, you're a busy guy, and I think he has kids, you know. I don't know for sure, but like, he's got businesses he's running. So for him to take out time from his businesses, it's got to make sense for him. And these guys were trying to like get me to like say something bad about this fool after I told that story.
Oh, they would love that, yeah.
And I was just like, hey, bro, like I literally understood where he was coming from. I fully understood it as somebody who has a lot of shit going on.
Right.
And I had no emotional reaction to it except for, hey, no, it's all good, bro. I get it. Like, hey, I'm here, you know? Like, and Vlad just texted me. He just texted me a few days. I didn't even reply. It's funny because now I got to hit him tomorrow because he hit me when I was training.
Oh, okay.
He was just starting out. He had almost like a brand new YouTube channel. And I'm like, if you're going to tell the story, just tell it in the right context. Yeah. You know, you had a brand new YouTube channel and you reached out and I'm like, yo, listen, like not right now, but just stay in touch with me and we'll do it later. And at the end of our conversation last night, I was like, you know, after the new year, hit me up and we'll put it together.
That's dope. And I would love to see that.
Yeah. And I think that like 99% of the time, people will just ignore you. They just won't answer your text, or they'll change the topic or whatever else. But I'm like, yo, I see what you're doing. I respect it. So I just want to keep it 100 with you and explain to you why I'm turning you down right now. And it's not a no, it's just a not right now. And, you know, since that time, he's built up and gotten a lot of big guests and got more followers and more traction. And I'm like, all right, cool. At this point, it does make sense for us to do it.
Which is, again, it's going to be super dope.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
And again, it makes me feel good. It says we did enough.
You did beat him to the
mean?
punch. Yes.
You know, we did do enough. And it's a tough space. I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. I feel like of all the people doing what we do, I think we've learned from you the most.
Really?
Yeah, hands down. Hands down.
Okay,
like,
thank you.
Because we respect the craft, right? So we're obviously stealing some of the formula. You know, we're sitting there chopping it up and learning how to do that. And when we're putting these interviews out and we're chopping it up and we're like, oh shit, we're actually making a lot more money doing it this way.
Yeah.
The one thing that we do that most people probably wouldn't do is we just go live. The people get the opportunity to get it direct without us getting a dime off of it. But we like the realistic side to it, you know, like no chopping out. People just get to sit in the room. They get to ask questions with us, you know, just giving that type of energy. So yeah, it's a tough industry. I feel like people like to target you.
Yeah, comes the territory.
How does that, like, I'm sure you've been asked the question a million times, and I'm sure you have your own way of dealing with it, but I just don't think it's fair. And Orlando, when you were talking about this earlier, and I wanted to give you the opportunity to speak on this interview because you were talking about how you feel about the way he's represented. And
I feel like people give Vlad a bad rap all the time because that whole feds thing and all. I think what it is, more than anything else, is the way that investigations in general have changed. Like, for instance, I think it was, I want to say it was Robert Blake, the one that killed his wife and then killed someone else. They made an HBO special about it. And the last episode, they dropped like this call of him confessing to it. And the next day, the feds came and got him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the same thing happened again with the Nexium.
Right. Well, you know, but that's a little bit of a different situation because I heard about this. I didn't watch it, but someone explained it to me. He was on a hot mic.
Right.
And he went to the bathroom and confessed on a hot mic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So when I have one of my guests come on the show and they want to go outside and have a conversation, we'll turn off the recorders.
Right.
We've done it every time. Like I can't remember. Like, yo, his mic's still on. Turn that shit off.
Just as a courtesy.
Right.
Turn it off. That's not what we do. We don't do secret recordings. We're not going to catch you unaware. Like, you sit down in front of me. Whatever you say, you know, that's going to come out.
Yeah.
You got, you know, a mic pointed at you. You're also wearing a lav mic. You've got 3 cameras pointing at you. There's no, there's no question as to this is being recorded right now.
Yeah, there's no sleight of hand.
Yeah, so I don't, you know, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't want to be compared to that because he got caught on a hot mic thinking he's just going to the bathroom by himself. You're not supposed to be recording someone when they go take a piss.
Right.
Yeah. You know, that's kind of grimy, and that's not what
definitely
we do.
grimy.
Yeah. We don't secretly, like, you've never heard me put out a phone call that I did with somebody, unless it's an interview. And at the start of every interview, I say, this is being recorded. You cool with that? Yes. Boop. This call is being recorded. And then, you know, like a jail interview or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make that distinction in terms of how I do business.
No, I understand. The point I was trying to make is not even so much the recording part, but the fact that the police waited for the content to drop and then they acted upon it. So I think that's just the nature of investigations now. Same thing with that Nexium case. The same thing. Season finale dropped. They went and arrested the dude. So I think that they're just investigations in general are now looking at content, social media, documentaries, all that, and you're just doing your due diligence as a journalist, and it's not your fault that people are acting on it. And I think that you shouldn't really be commingled with that. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the only interview that I've done that I heard is going to be used for a case is the Keefe D case, but he wrote a book.
Right. Exactly.
And he also went on a whole run.
He then went on. I mean, but we did the first real interview with him. I'm not going to say that, you know, this was after his run. No, I think he did something with BET, like something real short. But this is the first real interview. But that whole interview was based on a book that he had publicly put out.
Wow.
So if you're going to talk about an open case in a book, I could interview you about that book.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I feel like you're probably one of the only journalists interviewing him that actually read the book.
Yeah,
like you just go to that level and people hold it to you for no reason.
Our like my research, I feel, is like I don't know anyone who does as much research. Maybe like Nardwar or someone like. You know, I think he's dope. But like, I mean, I'll spend days researching, watching every other interview, reading every article, calling people that might know the person I'm interviewing. Like I interviewed Vanilla Ice today. I called them DOC. They grew up around each other. You know what I'm saying? They knew each other. I didn't get a lot of info in this particular case, but it's like, okay, I got a little something, and you know what I mean?
Due diligence. That's all.
And I think in hip hop, a lot of people don't do that. People just want to sit down and kind of vibe with the person. Yeah. And that's cool. That's someone else's style. It's just not my particular style.
It definitely shows in the quality of stuff that you put out.
Thank you.
You know, the way the questions are proposed, it's like, it's great. It's flawless. You know, that's why people love it, and you can watch it. And not just an entertainment way, but an informative way too.
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
You know? I love podcasts that feel like a book, where I leave with something that I didn't come in with. That's what I like to do. I like to appreciate that kind of work, and your work shows just that.
Thank you.
But with those rumors, and this is probably the last we'll speak on that, do you feel like a responsibility to explain yourself or defend yourself, or like it's just like, I know what I'm doing. So
but you know, if I'm doing an interview and I do, you know, like people think I'm just always behind the camera. Like I've just done Breakfast Club. I just did Academics again. Yep. Like doing Jason Lee's show, like like I did Pierce Morgan, I do a lot of stuff, like especially right now. And if you're gonna ask me, I'm gonna answer it. It's fine. Everyone, whatever audience you may have may not know the answer. Right. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I'm sitting right now with a new audience. Now there's probably some overlap, but it's still, there's a chunk of the audience that's getting to know me for the first time. So I don't mind questions that I've already answered and so forth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And with that, the question that I